is Natalie, and I'm a violence prevention educator. And today we're talking about cultural diversity. So, we're going to break this down into different parts. And the first thing we're going to talk about is culture. So, I have a couple different definitions of what culture means. So, the first one is a society following the same traditions, values, and customs. A large number of people living in the same group, living in the same area, following the same traditions, values, and customs. The more fun definition that I have is the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of racial, religious, or social group. The characteristic features of everyday existence shared by people in a place or time. Basically, we're looking at a large group of people living in the same area, doing the same types of things. So, same traditions, values, and customs. So, there are different things that make up our culture. Usually, again, we're in a classroom and I can ask you questions about what things make up your culture. But remember, everyday things shared by a people in a place or time. So we're going to list them, what makes up your culture. I'm going to start with food. Food makes up your culture. Let's see. The clothing you wear, dress, makes up your culture. Clothing. Housing makes up your culture. Basically where you live. If you live in a big city, probably you'll live in a flat or an apartment of some kind. If you live in the country, maybe you'll live in a cabin or you'll live on a giant ranch with a big house. It just depends on where you live. Also, where you live can be a part of transportation. So, in the area where I live, we don't have a subway, but other people might take a subway to get to work or school. Some people, I remember one of my friends used to take a dirt bike down his road to his school because it was all on a dirt road to a tiny one school house school. So transportation, it all varies. Maybe you take the bus, but mostly around where I live, everyone drives a car or walks. Language makes up your culture. I even spelled it wrong because flies. I don't like them. Maybe bugs make up your culture? I don't know. I don't like them, but maybe not. Let's see. Your art can make up your culture. Music. And that gets us also into dance. Well, different dances in different cultures. And you can look at different dances and they might have a part of a culture in them. It just varies. So, another part of your culture is climate. So, for example, when I lived in Hawaii, you didn't need seasonal clothing. I basically wore dresses or board shorts and bathing suits most of the year. Maybe there was a sweatshirt and a pair of pants needed. But now I live in an area with all 4 seasons. So we have a point in our life where we take all of our clothing out of our closet and transition to the other season to get those clothing. So your climate can impact how you type of house you live in. It can impact the clothing that you wear, or even the foods you're able to eat. The climate will have an impact on that, but not really necessarily now, but your climate, the food you can grow. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, religion. Obviously, if we're looking at beliefs, values, and customs, holidays, even sports and hobbies make up your culture. So we have so much that makes up our culture. And we have our shared culture. Maybe your family's multicultural. Maybe you have different things that you've taken as part of your culture from other groups. So we look at culture, and then we're going to look at diversity. So diversity. So diversity is a variety, mixture, assortment of things. In this case, we're looking at a lot of different cultures or a lot of different groups of people living together in the same area, coexisting in one social unit while being different. So we're looking at cultural diversity. A variety of different groups or cultures living together and coexisting. The opposite of this, so we have cultural diversity versus assimilation. Hold on while I spell this, because a fun long word to remember. It's the opposite of cultural diversity. So assimilation is what happens when all differences are lost. So in the culture, basically, they would take on, like, everyone wears the same clothing, lives in the same types of housing, eats the same types of food. The fun definition of assimilation: the merging of cultural traits from previously distinct cultural groups, not involving biological amalgamation. Basically, they conform to a culture, forgetting their own. The only thing they can't change is how they look. That makes sense. I know, it's super fun. All right, so we're gonna look at this with an analogy that involves food. So, cultural diversity, people retain their culture and identity while at the same time coexisting with other cultures. So we're going to pretend, and this is what's written on my paper, a food analogy. Everyone loves food. Okay, so there's a bowl, and inside I have my fruit salad. So I have apples, bananas, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, and they're all mixed together looking awesome, right? And so with cultural diversity, my fruits get to remain the bananas okay? So then they want to explain assimilation as if I take all the fruits and I dump them in a blender and I mix them all together. So now all differences are lost, but it's one giant smoothie, so no one's been able to retain anything. Everyone's just the same. Going like super nerd on it, right? If you ever watched Star Trek from back in the day, the 80s and 90s Star Trek, the Borg try and assimilate other people, right? And resistance is futile. I know, I went there. So, cultural diversity is so important. Learning about it is so important. When we learn about a group of people who are different from us or from our own group, when we learn about them, we can begin to feel more comfortable around them. We can also understand our differences and similarities and respect those. Some people choose to make fun of or treat other people who are different unfairly, but if we recognize how we are similar to other people, we can also appreciate our differences, and we can overcome prejudice and work towards a more peaceful world. So, we're going to make our own cultural identity chart so we can understand ourselves a little bit better. So again, I need you to grab a piece of paper. You can do this different ways. But what I do is I start out with a circle, and in the middle I will put my name. Okay? Alright. So name in the middle. Now you're going to draw lines and put bubbles. So I think this is like a cultural web. I think that's what they call it. Okay? And in each circle, you're going to put something about yourself and your culture. So, this can be anything from what makes up your culture? Food, clothes, holiday traditions, religion, sports, hobbies, language, transportation, climate. So, as you can see, I'm going to think of something that I eat like all the time. Let's see. So in my bubble up here, I'm going to put my foods, and I'm going to put salad because I love salad. Salad is the best food ever. All right. So that's something that makes up my culture. I live in an area that gets all 4 seasons. My favorite season is autumn, followed by I love winter so much. But that gets into my sports and hobbies because I love skiing. Okay, so basically part of it, we go way into depth into this. We go into subcultures and stuff like that. Part of my subculture is the ski culture. Okay. But other sports I love golf. Part of my culture now. I love that. And part of my movement that I really like is yoga. So, and I've also joined the CrossFit cultures. I enjoy CrossFit. The different things that you do that is part of your culture. Now, my hobbies, probably photography. So think about your hobbies. Art is a hobby. Let's see. But it could also be a business, and it can also be something like, but dance, maybe exercise or sport, hobbies, music. Think of just different hobbies that you might do. Some people, not a hobby, that's a survival. Let's see. Build things, like, are you mechanical? Do you create things? Upcycle? There's lots of different hobbies. I think my main one is photography. I live in a house, so that would be like housing what you live in. So, but I don't, like, maybe you live on a ranch, maybe you live in an apartment, maybe you live in a duplex or in a multi-family household. It all depends, but you can put what you live in. The clothing. So, clothing I wear, I think I wear mostly business casual, but I've been really into black dresses. So I'm gonna put black dresses. All right. So then, holidays. What holidays do you enjoy? What holiday, is there a special holiday? I get to learn so many great things about people when I'm in classrooms and I'm talking to the schools. I've learned that some people like go all out on Groundhog Day. So her family makes a groundhog shaped meatloaf on Groundhog's Day to celebrate that. And I never thought about celebrating Groundhog Day except looking at like, do I get extra weeks of winter? Um, let's see. What I celebrate a lot. I love Halloween. I love Halloween. I also love Thanksgiving. And I love celebrating Dia de los Muertos with my friends. Day of the Dead, it's a holiday, and it's celebrated in lots of different places, but it's celebrated really big in Mexico. And so there it's just one of the things I enjoy celebrating. But I'm gonna put down Halloween because that one is one of my. And I love Thanksgiving. So maybe there's a holiday that you go all out for. Some people celebrate New Year's really, really big with fireworks, and in some cultures, when the clock strikes midnight, they try and eat 12 grapes to bring in like prosperity and different cool things like that. So before the clock stops chiming the 12 times, they should have completed eating their 12 grapes of prosperity. Languages. What languages do you speak? Maybe you, well, I'm gonna go with English, and I speak Spanish. I am working on ASL, but that's not something that you speak, but it is American Sign Language. I'm working on that. Not great at it, but working. Think of just the different things. Other foods you eat regularly. Um, what foods does your family make that are special? Climate you live in. Other options, you can put down religion. And I think we looked at our other list. There are options that you can write from there. Transportation is another one that I can put down, but mostly I drive a car or I walk. It'd be cool if I had another awesome form of transportation. I don't know. Maybe I could ride in a plane or have a helicopter take me. Alright, so now that we have talked about our culture, yes. Like a horse and buggy? I don't think I'd want a horse and buggy. Dog sled, maybe? Dog sled could be fun. People have all sorts of ways that they get around. We use lots of different things. Alright. Now, normally I would go into culture fun fact and talk about the different things, but my last issue from Scholastic is from 2012, I think. So this might not be accurate, but we're going to take a look anyways. The number one language in the world is Mandarin, which is there are lots of different languages spoken in China, but Mandarin, and then the next one is Cantonese, and those are the most two common spoken in China. But Chinese isn't actually a language, so if somebody's teaching you, they should be teaching you Mandarin or Cantonese. The next most spoken language is Spanish, and then we have English. Alright, so again, this was back in 2012. Some of these are from 2009. 2011, though, posted the sports team with the highest net worth, and the number one highest paid sports team is actually a soccer team. I know that blows your mind, but it's Manchester United in the United Kingdom. Then, number 2, again, this was 2011, I'm not sure, was Dallas Cowboys, okay? And then the New York Yankees. Followed by the Washington Redskins, and then we have a soccer team. So, Spain's Real Madrid is the next highest. Text heavy, the countries with the highest text volume. And this is average number of texts per subscriber per month. And it's hilarious to me, like, because I feel like we're really text heavy here. But the United States came in second in the highest number of text messages. Because the Philippines beat us by double. They doubled what we texted. So that's fun. Then Philippines, United States, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then Venezuela. In terms of eating vegetables, I don't even think the United States made the list. But the country that eats the most vegetables is Greece, followed by South Korea, followed by Turkey, then China, then Israel. And I'm only giving the top 5. The countries that eat the most beef, again, we did make this list, but it's Argentina, Austria, Australia, Greece, New Zealand, Portugal, and then the United States, followed by Canada, Brazil, and Ireland. So we do come in top 10 for eating beef, meat, I guess not beef completely, but meat. But we are number 1 in the amount of Starbucks we have. So we have a lot of Starbucks, followed by Canada, then Japan, then the UK, then China. But we win for the most Starbucks. I don't know if that's winning, but Starbucks is nice. So, there are a lot of cultural stereotypes that I could share with you, but it's more fun to learn about cultures on your own. So one way you can learn about other cultures is asking questions, watching documentaries, reading about other cultures, watching movies, but probably the best way to learn about other cultures is traveling. If you can do it, I can't, so I read about them. But it's important to learn about other cultures so that we can be comfortable around them, so we understand our similarities and our differences, so we can work towards a more peaceful world. Normally I do all sorts of games with this one, so we learn about each other and we learn about who has different things. And I can't do that right now with what's going on. And sometimes I let students ask me, there's a culture I want to know about, what can you tell me about it? So I have a bunch of things that are written down basically, that let them know about different cultures, cultural fun facts. But I just wanted to share this last part with you. I appreciate you all so much. You are so awesome, and I hope you learned a lot and understand a little bit more about your culture and yourself. And hopefully we can learn about others soon. If you enjoyed these programs, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, the email is in the description, so you can message. Thank you all so much. You're awesome.